What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Arrow Season 5, Episode 21, Honor Thy Fathers. So, it's nice to have Adrian Chase a bit more back in the show, because it feels like he's sort of been on the outskirts of the show, because we've been more focused on Oliver and all of his moping and doping and, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, and all that stuff. So now he's officially, more involved, he's more focused on him. So we start off, we hear a bunch of people have been let out of prison that were prosecuted by Adrian Chase, and so we're like, okay, we need to focus on them. And so one of the guys is that one indestructible guy that they took on earlier this season. Meanwhile, a box is sent into Oliver's office from whatever Adrian's original name was, Simon Morrison, I think. I think I got that one right. So Oliver opens up the box, and it's a body buried in concrete. And so they identify who it is, and they get some prints off, or no, they get some DNA from under the fingernails, and apparently it's Oliver's father. Here's one of the first problems I have with this. As soon as he hears this information, Thea's also in the room, and so they start talking about it, and Oliver is instantly just like, really, no, it can't be him. He must be being framed. Thea's like, what if this is all Adrian's plan? He's like, no, don't you understand? He's just framing my father. That's all this is. Here's the thing. That is exactly the type of reaction that we've come to expect. You know, if somebody frames Oliver's father, if somebody was framing Oliver, if somebody was framing Thea for something, that would be his instant reaction. No, it must be a frame-up. I'm going to go to the press right now and talk about this. I could have predicted that. And for some reason, he doesn't. Even Thea's like, this is exactly what Chase wants you to do. And he's just like, I don't care. This is obviously him trying to bash my father's name. You do realize that your father is dead, right? Like, I understand you want to preserve his legacy and preserve his memory, but this is like, okay, a guy has his DNA on him. Okay, so he is accused of murdering this guy. Whoop-de-doo? I don't know, it's like, I guess I understand that he really cares about his father and he doesn't want this to tarnish his name, but at the same time, it feels like he's getting way too worked up about this. You know, like a little too much. To the point where he's actually physically yelling at Thea about all of this, because she's just trying to be the voice of reason. She's trying to calm him down because she realizes this is all Adrian Chase is doing. He's trying to wind up Oliver, and he's just like falling right into it yet again. And then they end up finding out that he's supposed to be at this building. I can't remember how I think Felicity found something in the cement block that the guy was buried in. And so they go to this one building, and then it's a trap. So John and Oliver are stuck inside as cement is pouring in. That means that Dinah and Curtis, who are watching the indestructible guy, have to go over and help them out. So they get out of there, come back, and they're trying to figure out what to do next. So there's more time to talk. There's a little bit of a side story with Renee and Quentin. They're talking about, you know, Renee has a chance to get his daughter back, and it's just, you know, there's a court date, and so he's all excited. And then later on in the episode, he's like, no, it's actually a hearing, and I thought it was just going to be a cakewalk, and now I have to go in there and testify, and I don't want to do that to her. And then Quentin's just like, look, it's better for her to have to relive this now than to not see you at all. And then at the end of the episode, he doesn't show up, so had a chance to become not my least favorite character, and now he's back to being my least favorite character again, because you don't show up to your own daughter. You have a chance to get your daughter back. All you have to do is show up to a hearing, talk about it, let her go through that pain one more time, and then that's it. You're done. You have her back. You start building a family again, but no, he just decides not to go, and then he's an idiot. Meanwhile, on the Adrian Chase front, though, we see that there are some chemicals that this indestructible guy is getting together. They attack his base, and so when they realize this, Oliver realizes that apparently it's the same type of toxin that Chase's father was going to release on the city before Oliver shut him down. And so they get to the building where they're about to release the chemicals. There's a lot of fighting going on. You know, Renee, Dinah's there. John and Oliver go, and Curtis is there as well. They're all fighting. Adrian Chase shows up, and so Oliver's like, he's mine, you go to the roof and stop the device. So they go up there to stop the device while Oliver fights Adrian. And so they stop the device while Oliver tells Adrian, who has a sword out at him, and he's like, I'm going to honor my father's memory. Oliver's like, your father's memory? Do you not realize that your father wanted to disown you? Like, he was embarrassed of you. And Chase is just like, oh, okay, well, that sucks. Puts down his sword, and then, do it. Kill me. He's like, I'm not going to kill you. You're going to see justice. And then it cuts to commercial break. And throughout that entire commercial break, all I could think was, are you serious? All of this, you're going to turn yourself in. After all of this time, all of this stuff, you're just going to turn yourself in just because your father didn't love you. Are you serious? Like, that is such a wimpy-ass way to go out. What? How on earth could you... Oh. This was literally my reaction as I'm going through the commercial break. William. He still has William. This guy's a master genius! Honestly, at that point, I kind of realized that Adrian Chase, even though he is a little OP because Felicity can't find William, but you can. But aside from that, he turns himself in. I don't. Maybe he already knew that his father was going to give him up, and so this information was not new to him. But I guess in his mind, he's thinking, "Ooh, Oliver thinks he's got me beat. Well, I'm just going to turn myself in." But I've still got William. Oh, what's he going to do about that? I don't know. Just this guy is a really, really good villain because he's always one step ahead. At times, it seems like maybe he's a little too much one step ahead. Maybe they'll explain how he's able to find William. Maybe they'll explain how he's always able to plan for every single thing. Maybe he's a superhero, or supervillain in this case. Maybe he's got some sort of like powers or abilities that we don't know about yet. Because it really does feel like he knows way, way too much. Like it's on Savitar level. And we all know the secret about Savitar now, or at least if you watch The Flash you do. So we figured out how Savitar was able to know everything before it was happening. But Adrian Chase feels the same way. It feels like he knows exactly what's going to happen. When Oliver and John go into that building, it's like he set that up to let them drop into a trap because he knew that Dinah and Curtis were going to be checking out that other guy who's doing his bidding. And so he knew to set up a trap for them so that they would have to leave that guy alone and go help John and Oliver. It's like he knew that. And whenever he goes into the building, he and Oliver start fighting, it's like he knew that they were going to go up there and stop the device, and that Oliver is going to bring up this information about his father wanting to disown him as a child, because he knew that would be a premise to make Oliver think, okay, now I've beaten him, when in reality he's just turning himself in because he still has Oliver's son, and that's all the leverage he needs. So I don't know how he does it. I really hope they explain it. I hope they're not just going to be like, oh yeah, he's just that smart, because that's a little OP smart, in my opinion. Like, you've got to be super genius levels. But maybe it's something along the lines of he's able to control time, or maybe he's able to look into the future. I don't know. I really do think, though, that he's probably going to end up having some sort of ability, because there's no way he could plan everything that precisely and not be superpowered. It doesn't seem possible. You could make the argument that he's a super genius, but this is like incredibly high levels of intelligence to be able to plan this much in advance. Like, this is way too much. So I'll be really interested to see how this is all going to play out, but I love the final little scene where Oliver's on the screen talking about his father, and Chase is watching from his cell, and you just see like this smirk just come on his face, like you can just tell he's just like, oh, he has no idea what's going to happen. So yeah, I don't know. Chase for me is turning into a really, really, really good villain, much better than Damien Dark was last season. But hopefully there are some explanations coming our way, and it's not just going to turn into a, oh no, he's just that smart, and that's all you need to know. The other thing that I do want to talk about, though, because there are a couple things that did bother me. One was the theater thing, which I already talked about. Just that that frustration that Oliver had in the constantly just falling into Chase's traps time and time again. When some of them, some of them are very well laid. This turning himself in, Oliver doing all that stuff. Obviously, this is a trap that Chase has planned well in advance, and it's not that obvious whenever you look at it. But this one was like, obviously Chase is trying to stir up Oliver. He's trying to stir up his emotions, make him think, oh, he's just trying to mess with my father now. No, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to say that my father's innocent. And Thea is even, like I said, she's just like, no, that's part of the plan. He wants you to go out there and make a speech about it. He wants you to go out there and make a fool of yourself. And it feels like sometimes he gets way too emotional and falls right into the villain's trap, where Oliver in the first few seasons was very smart, always thinking ahead, never letting himself get too emotionally invested to the point where he was completely falling into the villain's trap. It felt like he was making preparations as well. It was like a game of chess. This one, it's like Adrian Chase is playing chess and Oliver's just like flipping the board over, throwing the table around because he's losing. So that's something that's bothered me throughout most of the season, is that Oliver has seemed a lot dumber. Just in all of his moves and everything he does, it feels like he's falling for everything. I mean, the episode where Chase was torturing him, and then he pretended to kill what's-her-face, Evelyn. It feels like Oliver would have noticed that she's not actually dead, but he just instantly falls for it, and now he's falling into his trap again. So that is something that's bothered me, but the other thing about this episode in particular that bothered me was when they finally showed what happened on the videotape. Showed Oliver's father killing the guy. Couple problems with this. First of all, why the hell are you two men arguing right on the edge of a platform that somehow leads into a vat of cement? What? You want to have an argument? Yeah, let's go out to this edge of the thing, and then there's a vat of cement there. Or even if they were just there and they started talking, they started getting into an argument and just, oh really? Yeah, you want to fight right now? You want to fight? You think one of them would go, hang on, I get that I'm pissed at you right now, but don't you think we maybe should move away from this edge? Because wouldn't it suck if one of us maybe fell off into the vat? Yeah, you're right. It feels like they would have been smarter than that, but whatever, they're fighting. One of the guys slips and falls. You can even see Oliver's dad go, no, reaching for him as he's falling. And for some reason they treat this like, oh no, Oliver's dad is a murderer. No. No. Show it. No. Like, okay, don't get me wrong, the fact that he covered it up is bad. But watch his reaction. It's very clear he did not intend to kill that guy. Honestly, he's not even really that responsible. The guy really sort of slipped off. I mean, they sort of grappled a little bit, and then the guy's lost his footing and started to fall, and you could see Oliver's dad go, stop, trying to stop him. And for some reason, Oliver and Thea both treat like, I can't believe he's a murderer. I can't believe he killed that guy. When I saw this, I expected the videotape to show them like standing at the edge of the platform as Oliver's dad's like slowly pushing him towards the edge and then push him off. Especially by Thea's reaction, I was expecting that. But to see this, to see them go, I'm just like, yeah, no, he's not a murderer. Did he cover it up? Yes, but he was scared. If you ask half of the people in this world, what would you do in that situation? I guarantee half of the people in this world would probably agree to cover it up. Because if you accidentally lead to someone's death, you're not even really the killer, but you're kind of responsible still. You're not going to want to be like, hey, can you check that vat of cement? Because I was grappling with a guy up on that platform and he fell in. Especially because, who's going to believe you? Obviously, by the videotape, you really feel like he could have just said, oh, look at this videotape, see, it wasn't my fault. That is kind of dumb. But still, there's so many reactions and decisions in the show that really don't make a lot of sense. And this is another one of them. They're treating it like he is responsible for his death. He is the killer. He murdered him in cold blood. When in reality, it was an accident. He covered it up, yes, that makes him probably a worse person, but still, I don't know. It gets frustrating at times whenever certain decisions or certain reactions to situations are treated much differently than they normally would be in real life. You know, when Oliver's thinking about killing, who was it? Was it Ra's al Ghul or Damien Dark? I believe it was season 3, Ra's al Ghul. He was thinking about going to kill him or something like that. And for some reason, Felicity was just like, no, you don't want to do it. You shouldn't kill him. There's something along those lines. And then he decided he wasn't going to. And then, I don't know, she like wanted him to kill him. And stuff like that just pisses me off because I get so confused about their motivations. Like, do you want him to kill? Do you not want him to kill? What do you want him to do? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. But aside from that, though, that is a problem. The stuff with Oliver falling way too easily into Chase's traps, definitely a problem. But on the whole, this episode was actually pretty good. You know, it was enjoyable. I had a lot of good action moments. The team, while still not great, they are starting to grow on me a little bit. You know, just that, I guess that watching them work together, they've gotten a lot better at working together. Curtis is, I mean, he's at his height right now. You know, he's out in the field, but he's using technology to beat people, not trying to use his fighting skills, because that's what he's good at. Renee, obviously, after what happened at the end of this episode, I'm pissed off at him again. But, you know, as far as being on the team, he is a bit more understanding. There's even that one moment where Oliver tells Dinah to make sure Renee stands down. And he's just like, why me? And she's like, because he knows you. He's like, oh yeah. So, you know, he is understanding that he's part of the team and that he shouldn't take matters into his own hands. And then, of course, you know, John always just John Diggle because he's awesome. Dinah's starting to really find her place in the team. Her canary cry is being used pretty effectively. It's pretty awesome. But, you know, that's pretty much it for this episode. So I think there are 2 more episodes left. Obviously, the next episode is tonight. Hopefully I can get semi-caught up before, you know, tomorrow so I can watch it. But anyway, that's about it for this. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this episode? What do you think is going to happen with Adrian? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Arrow reviews. I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.